there is no profession that is as important as engineering. Whatever profession you study, an engineer can actually come there and replace you. Education is one place that engineering has already replaced. The people in the medical line, pharmacy, name it, whatever career you might think of. Engineering actually makes it more advanced or better. 90% of what happens in the hospital today is actually more of engineering than medical. So doctor is now basically doing, let's say, 10%. Some of us here now use AI. That is engineering. People don't even know. You tell me software development, but at the core of software development is also engineering. Because without the engineering, you will not even have access to internet to begin with. Go to the pharmaceutical industry. What they are just doing there is just getting the right quantity. Machine is the one doing the drug. Who is building those machines? Engineers. In content creation, you see engineering. The camera you are using, the phone you are using, the internet you are posting it to. I bet you go to any career. There is no career in this world that you not find engineering.
You are welcome to the Chaotic Podcast. Akagi. Woo, 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 woo. This is the podcast where it is allowed to get as chaotic as possible. You know, and I still remain your humble host. My name is Prince Neche, your favorite MC on the MIC. Okwanyono 1.
Don't play.
Yeah, and as usual, I have my amazing co-host, Nwanamma Achalugo, as how then a wine. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the CEO Crafted NG Didi.
Hi guys.
Hi guys, every time. All right, guys, I want to shout out to our viewers, everybody that has been a part of the building of this amazing story. You guys, we love you. Don't ever think that, we no longer care about you. Keep watching the Chaotic Pod. And a very big shout out to all our sponsors, Pocari Sweat Drinks. That's drinks that re-energizes you. That's drink that gives you back your electrolytes. Big shout out to Pocari Sweat.
So we are shouting out to Dozaville brand. They are a pizza brand, one of the biggest and the best currently in Nigeria. And you should check Dozaville out, guys.
Dozaville. Also, a very big shout out to Flamingo Car Care, the #1 car care brand in the country right now. Anything we concern motor, we concern, we go make your motor, they behave like motor, You don't go like start your motor, maybe they laugh you now. So, engine oil, gear oil, steering oil, car wash, car air freshener, everything that has to do with car care. Flamingo Car Care NG is your #1 plug. Now, to the introduction of our guest. Drum rolls. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a renowned engineer in the building. Someone who understands engineering, building technicalities, and he is the CEO of SOLTEC Engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for SOLTEC CEO Opurum EMMANUEL.
Hi guys.
You can't be stealing my lines.
A round of applause. Another round of applause.
You don't need shy. You never even start.
CEO,
Yeah.
you're welcome to the Chaotic Pod.
Thank you.
Yeah. So today we'll be discussing a very topic, a topic that you're very familiar with. And it borders around engineering. So our topic today is the life we could have engineered. Yeah?
Yeah.
Give or take. If engineers were in every other workforce, every other profession, what our life could have been like. So to start it off, first of all, who is an engineer?
Okay. An engineer. Okay, thank you so much for for having me today. So I remain Engineer Opurum EMMANUEL, the Managing Director, SOLTEC Engineering. Now, an engineer is everything. An engineer can take any form, an engineer can take any shape. An engineer is not confined to any, there is no single word to actually define who an engineer is, and that's part of why I'm here today. So I cannot just define who an engineer is by mere words. Yes.
So it goes beyond words.
It goes beyond words.
So if it goes beyond words, where does it go into? Where does it extend to?
Okay, engineer finds extension in everything. Engineering is just a way of life. That's how I would like to define it. Engineering is a way of life. So it's not just something you just define. It's a way of life.
So there's this course in the university that it takes you 5 years to study, that after studying it, you now become a certified engineer, depending on your major, chemical, civil, mechanical, electrical, and every other thing. So does engineering, to the best of your knowledge, does it go beyond those 5 years?
Yes, engineering goes beyond. Engineering is something you do for a lifetime. Engineering is not just something you even study in school. Yeah, I understand going to school, studying engineering for the sake of having that certificate, but engineering goes beyond the four walls of the university. And that's why I started by saying engineering is a way of life. When you see an engineer, you don't even need anybody to tell you that this person is an engineer. You just find that person solving problems. But that's what engineering basically is all about.
Engineering is problem solving.
Problem solving.
So what that means is somebody that did not have to spend that 5 years in university, that did not need to go through that engineering, or rather that acknowledged engineering process, can also be referred to as an engineer?
No. There are levels to this problem solving thing. You understand? Now, everybody has one problem or the other that they are solving. Doctors are solving problem. Every other person is solving problem. There are still people that are not. In fact, one of the ways you know that somebody studied the useless course is when they tell you can work anywhere. You understand? When they say you can work anywhere. You have never seen anybody telling an engineer that you can work anywhere. So engineering is something. Of course, he finds application everywhere. So it's not just that you can work anywhere, you can work everywhere. You understand? Now, one of the things I tell people is whatever profession you study, an engineer can actually come there and replace you. That's one interesting thing about engineering.
So how engineers feel?
That's your perspective too.
It is interesting. It's not just perspective. It is what
so we want to know why do you think so?
Okay. Now, when you look at every single field that you can think of, I've mentioned doctors, the people in the medical line, pharmacy, name it, whatever career you might think of, there is an actually engineering that comes into it, or engineering actually makes it more advanced or better. Now, let's look at the medical field, for example. 90% of what happens in the hospital today is actually more of engineering than medical. From the equipment you see the doctors using, to the ones the medical lab people are using, to the machines the radiographers are using, these are all engineering powered machines. So more or less like you just have the doctors doing doctoring actually. But you see that at the core of every profession, you find engineering there.
But your previous argument was that engineers can do anything. I like that you just pinpointed that the doctors also still have to be the doctors there.
They must not have to be the doctors.
Would you make a diagnosis as an engineer in a medical facility?
Exactly.
You can't make a diagnosis.
I can't make a diagnosis.
So buttress your point.
Okay, now there is something called machine learning, which is also a part of engineering. Now, where you can actually have an equipment or a machine, and you can actually program it in a way that it can do what that doctor is actually or also doing.
So you take out the doctor.
So you are
I've
saying
heard
Yes, you can.
issues. I've
You
heard
can.
issues. I've also read scenarios where a doctor is maybe 2,000 miles across the world and is
doing
conducting
surgery
surgery
else.
somewhere else
Yes.
with the help of a machine. But that machine needs that doctor
you obviously
as
need
much
data
as the
from
doctor
from
needs the
doctor.
machine.
Exactly.
So my question now is, the engineering, since we started talking about in the medical field,
Okay.
is the engineering, can it be independent in the medical field without
With help of a doctor.
the medical practitioners?
Okay, now remember, when I started talking, I'm not saying other professions or other careers, they shouldn't be there or they're not
You were
important.
saying that actually.
No, that's not what I'm
You
saying.
were saying
That's
that.
not what I'm
But
saying.
you said
But-
an engineer
said
will
that-
come to
But
and
what-
replace.
Very
Exactly.
much,
Now
you
what
said so.
what I'm saying is an engineer can actually come into any of those professions and even replace the people there.
You're saying the same thing again.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Now,
Mhm.
I am not saying that they should not be there or they cannot be there and do what they are doing.
When something
No.
replaces something, what's it called?
That you can replace something does not mean that you have replaced it. But now I'm saying,
Okay,
now,
so
if
you're saying it can be replaced,
if you
but
go-
it has not been replaced.
Yes. Now, if you go back in the days,
Yeah.
if you go back in the days when technology was not as it is now, you find out that doctors were probably doing 90 or 100% of the job
Yeah.
when it comes to the medical line or medical field.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But as we have it today, you see that 90% of that particular work now the doctor would have done is probably now automated or done by machine.
Yeah.
So doctor is now basically doing, let's say, 10%.
Okay.
Now, if engineering has handled 90%, it can still extend to
I
100%.
think you feel doctors do 10% because you are looking at it from outside.
Why do you think I'm looking at it from the outside?
If
You
I get
have not worked in have you worked in a facility like a hospital before?
But I've just told you now.
I'm
Go,
just
so if I
go,
get your
go to any hospital you know around. Go there, look at any major hospital, of course, not just going to a small, just go to any major hospital. You will see that virtually everything that happens there is mostly done by machines. Like the surgery you mentioned, somebody is in Rome doing surgery for somebody in China. It's, yeah, as much as there is a doctor doing the hand and the rest of them, but 90% of that is made possible by engineers. Now, we're not even talking about engineering itself now. We're talking about people in other fields. I don't know if you get my point. I'm already telling you the contribution that engineers are already doing in other fields. We have not even started talking about what engineers are doing when it comes to engineering.
yeah.
You know, so I'm just trying to let you know that sometimes people, when you randomly ask somebody now, what is the most important career, what is the most important field you can go into, you see them telling you doctor, lawyer.
I still want to go back to what you said initially.
Okay.
About you saying they can replace other sectors.
Okay.
I want to know how engineering can replace the educational sector.
The educational sector.
Yeah, the way the classrooms, how teaching happens. I want to know how engineering can replace that. You said replacing. That's why I'm using your word.
Replacing.
So I want to know how engineering can replace that sector.
Engineering has, in fact, education is one place that engineering has already replaced, not even that it's going
It
to
has
replace.
replaced the
Yes,
teachers.
the way we learn now is basically different from how we learned 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Okay.
Let's start with what happened in 2020, for example. Virtually every institution went into online classes.
Yeah.
Virtually every institution. Now, that online class that you're doing is fully powered by engineers. Now, you're going to tell me, there are teachers at the other end doing the teaching. Machines can actually do the same work that those teachers are doing. Some of us here now use AI, and you can learn whatever thing you want to learn using AI. That is engineering. People don't even know. You tell me software development, but at the core of software development is also engineering. Because without the engineering, you will not even have access to internet to begin with. Do you understand? So that you can just, even the phone you are using is still engineering. I tell people one interesting thing: there is no day you wake up and go to sleep that you will not encounter engineering. From the house you wake up, you are waking up in a house that is built by an engineer. You come out to the road, you are coming out to a road that is built by an engineer. You enter your vehicle, you are entering a car that is built by an engineer. You go to your office, every single thing
I want to get something straight.
is engineering.
You'd say that engineering plays a major role in our daily lives. Not that it replaces. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
It plays a major role, yes.
Exactly.
Now, I am also saying if there is a need to actually do that replacement, engineering can actually do that replacement.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, let me ask him.
Okay.
Can the average person apply engineering principles like the structures, precision, and feedback? Can it be applied to something as basic as maybe faith, marriage, basic faith?
Yeah, something that everybody can attest to.
Let's say, let's single out faith and marriage. Can the average person apply the principles and structures of engineering on things like maybe faith and marriage?
Yes, I would say yes. Now, I would say yes because let's talk about faith, for example. Engineering or things that happens around you in engineering already makes you know that God, I always tell people that even God is an engineer.
Shut down.
That's one thing I always tell, because in the beginning, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. That's electrical engineering.
Shut down.
Do you understand?
That's electrical engineering.
That's electrical engineering.
And God said, "Let there be water." And there was marine engineering.
And God started separating. Let this one be. Let this one be. That is engineering.
So God in heaven will be shocked at the philosophy.
God is an engineer.
His particular words.
But that is the truth of the matter. Now you see, things like the moon, for example, has remained in a particular place. It keeps probably revolving or rotating. The earth keeps moving in the same direction every particular time. Nothing has gone out of place. Do you understand?
Because God is an engineer.
Because God is an engineer. And that's what engineering is all about. We deal with precision. When you look at how precise God is with the things he does, you know that God himself is an engineer. So, when God was telling Noah to build an ark, you see, God was giving him dimension.
There was a lot of precision.
There was precision. There was dimensioning.
Measurement and all of that.
There was measurement. Do you understand? So when it comes to faith, you know, you don't even need anybody to tell you. When you see the things that God has done, you know that God is an engineer.
You still did not answer the question. He said, how does an average man, an average Nigerian,
okay,
yes, how does that person apply engineering? So explain to me how an average man would, I'm an average woman being now, and how will I apply faith, or how will I apply engineering in the aspect of faith or marriage?
I'm sorry, engineering is not for average people like you.
So you see as life be. Can you see?
It's no quarrel.
You said, how can an average person...
That's the question that he asked you.
You said, how can an average person apply engineering? And I'm telling you, engineering is not for the average people.
So you beat around the bush now.
No.
For no reason. Yes.
I come in peace to witness violence.
Yeah. You beat around. So
not to take part in it.
Maybe you need to paraphrase, but you are saying, how can an average
Okay, so
person...
how can I apply engineering maybe like my marriage?
Are you an engineer? How can you apply what you don't know?
Oh. So you just said...
Because my point is you have mentioned that engineering goes beyond the technicalities of an institution, and if you explained that precision, how you put things to make it work. Now, I am give or take making a career work currently. I am building. That's the word that is used.
Okay.
Building a career in an industry, and so far so good, without the basic knowledge of, I don't even know it be 2 by 2.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
I don't know if you get the picture I'm painting.
Okay.
Because you mentioned, as long as it has to do with building, curating, is engineering.
Okay.
So I don't already build them. You hear people say they are building a family.
Okay.
So how do you apply, in the real sense of the word, engineering, carrying like this inside marriage?
Okay. Of course, I've never been married, so I might not, I might not really know how the engineering might apply to marriage. But like you said, when it comes to engineering, basically also covers things like building, for example. Now, there are basic principles that has to do with building. There are a lot of things you put into consideration when it comes to building. You're checking strength of material, you're checking wind direction, you're checking a whole lot of things. Now, engineering will teach you precision, engineering will teach you patience, engineering will teach you carefulness, engineering will test you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, I am sure some of these things are also things that are also some things that happens in marriage.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Right.
Now, if you are somebody that has this knowledge, you can equally apply that same knowledge of what engineering would have probably taught you. You can just carry it like that and also apply it in marriage, and it's going to work.
Okay, so let's get broader.
Okay.
So Nigeria is full of intelligent people, but a broken system.
Okay.
What is one thing you think we could have built? Maybe not like physically, or maybe a structure we could have put in place, because I believe that's also part of engineering. What is that one thing you think we could have engineered to give us the life we could have had? That, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. What is one thing you think that, we could have built or put in place that could have fixed that broken system, so to say, or the least make it better?
Okay, Nigeria is not a place where you can just come up with one solution that will solve every problem, because Nigeria is a very diverse.
Let's say one thing that could have changed our national story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say it's one of the things that P2B will usually say, from consumption to production. And of course, when you look at the word production, you can already imagine it's basically engineering. Do you understand? So I always tell people until, but that's the truth of the matter. And I always tell people until an engineer becomes the president of this country, nothing is going to work.
But P2B is not an engineer.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying P2B is going to make things work. I just borrowed one of the statements that he usually says, from consumption to production. When you look at some of the best governors we've had in time past, you see they were engineers. One of the best governors in recent time, the governor of Oyo State, is an engineer. When you look at some states that...
The governor of Enugu State is a lawyer and he's doing absolutely well.
Bless you.
Okay.
You can also explain to me how engineering can work in the law, since he works everywhere.
Is it in the law firm?
Yeah, I want to know. I'm
of
curious.
course, engineering is almost everything. First of all, I don't even rate lawyers, because you're studying law in a lawless context.
Let's go. Let's get that again.
So that's the more reason why I want to know.
First of all, wait. Drink Pocari first. May you don't lose electrolytes. May you understand? Drink. So, engineer Opurum EMMANUEL.
Yeah.
Let's track back a bit.
Okay.
In your own words, you don't rate lawyers.
Yes.
Pick it up from there.
I just said it. How can you be studying law in a country that is lawless?
Do you have a lawyer?
I do have a lawyer.
So you know rate him?
Shout out to my lawyer boy.
You know that's your lawyer.
Answer question.
Suppose allow you go small jail.
But you're doing law in a country that is lawless, basically.
But why didn't you have a lawyer?
For formality's sake.
It's
That-
formality.
because I
It's for
cannot...
formality.
For
Yeah.
formality, actually, because I cannot... There is something called stamping, for example, when they prepare a document, the lawyer has to put a seal.
Yeah.
I don't have a seal.
Okay.
And if I tell you that I'm going to honor this agreement and you don't see the seal of a lawyer, you might not even... You might not take it serious.
So aside
So-
that, you don't think she's...
Aside that, I don't think I need a lawyer because I've asked, in recent times, you see lawyers saying land agreement, for example, you see them saying they want to be charging 10% or whatever. And one of the things I ask them is, if I pay you this 10%, when dispute arises, for example, what happens? You will still see that lawyer, will still charge you again for litigation, will still charge you again for this one. So even paying you that 10% or whatever amount that they're asking you for does not even mean that problem is not even going to arise from that particular
Deal.
agreement or whatever, or deal or whatever.
So how is
So-
engineering going to make it better, or is currently making it better or working?
Engineering is making it better because let's use a blockchain system, for example, which is built by engineers.
Yeah.
The blockchain system is one of the best places where you can verify any contract, anything.
Okay.
Do you understand? Now, lawyers can falsify documents. People can even forge a lawyer. See, a lot of things can happen. But you see that engineers has also equally built a system like the blockchain system, like the escrow system, where you cannot falsify anything. The blockchain system, for example, you can't delete anything. There is there. There is no falsification. There is no altering. There is no editing. Lawyers will not guarantee you that. The escrow system as well, which is a product of engineering, where you have a product. You have a product you want to sell. I want to buy your product. We don't have any mutual friend. You understand? I don't know you. You don't know me. You're somewhere else. I'm somewhere else. I move my money to an escrow system. The escrow system tells you I've moved my money there. You move your goods to me. I confirm to the escrow system. It releases it to you. This is basically what a lawyer is supposed to do. But a system has been built by engineers to replace it. I'm still telling you, there is no profession. Go to the pharmaceutical industry. All the machines that they use there, what they are just doing there is just getting the right quantity. Machine is the one doing the drugs. Who is building those machines? Engineers. I bet you go to any field, go to any career. There is no career in this world that you not find engineering. There is none.
In content
You-
creation.
In content creation, you see engineering. The
phone
camera
wey
you
you
are
dey use.
using, the phone you are using, the internet you are posting it to.
My pastor for village, no, they.
Eh,
My pastor for
Your
village.
pastor
How
is
engineering
a
dey?
content creator.
No, how
It
engineer want
might
take
be.
my pastor work?
That's
You know they use microphone. Na small church where they follow them talk face to face. So how engineering want take do am?
The structure where he's staying to do that talking is
No, they stay under tree.
on
Under tree.
There is no place, there is no career, there is no field
But I
that
want
you
you to,
not
I
find
really
engineering.
want you to understand that as much as people don't give engineering a lot of accolade, which you are trying to make people
Yeah, I think
understand,
that's the
your goal now is you want people to start to give engineering a lot more accolades.
The respect that
and
you
No,
not
no.
aside that, which I feel like you may not be agreeing that that's what you want. to
That's
happen.
not what I want. What I'm
As-
saying is there is no career, there is no profession that is as important as
That's
engineering.
the same thing I just said.
At the same time, I am also telling you that whatever career you think you may have, whatever thing you might think you're doing, engineers can come there and do that thing better than you're doing.
Have you ever looked at your life
Mm.
and you are like, this particular season I could have engineered this better?
Yeah, I want to know that.
Okay?
Yeah,
That's just the
that's the
question.
question.
This particular...
You
Season of
like
your life,
this
or like-
particular phase of my life, we don't pass. I could have engineered it better.
Yeah, sure.
So where was the point where you when you look back at it, where do you think was the point where you missed it?
Okay.
Engineering mistake, error due to parallax.
You've already said it. At the end of the day, we're all humans, and every human has a flaw. Every human every human, there is a flaw to everything. There is a flaw to everything.
Is there a flaw to engineering too?
No, there is no flaw to engineering.
But there's a flaw to everything, like you just said.
To a human being,
A
human being is
there are flaws to other sectors aside engineering.
Yes.
Really?
Really.
Have you ever been in a relationship before?
Definitely.
So you're trying to say why didn't it work out? Did you not engineer?
You did not use your engineering.
All your engineering went bonkers.
I
didn't see them anymore.
I did all the engineering, but my partner might not have been
what
an
if you
engineer.
were the problem? You will not come here and tell us that you were the problem.
There is even a saying that if you are not an engineer, you should marry one. It's a popular saying. Yes, it's a very popular saying. But every home should. Yes.
Why are you laughing?
It's a popular saying.
Now for the engineering world.
You will not hear it now. Remember I told you engineering is not for average people.
Jesus. You're still doing this thing, and I have a problem with it.
First
of all, Didi is not an average person.
Because I gave an example.
She is way below average.
But she's not an engineer. But she's not an
Anybody
who is...
People did not hear me.
The truth of the matter is, anybody who is not an engineer, I see you as an average person.
So everybody
no,
here
Didi is way above average.
You said below.
By height, yes.
I heard that. I'm going to excuse you because you're married. That's the only reason why I'm going to excuse you. So all of us here, we are below you because we are engineers.
Whoever is not an engineer is an average person.
Whoever is not an engineer is an average person.
Do you know?
Interesting.
Do you know how I see engineers?
How do you see engineers?
I see, especially in this part of the world, I see engineering like that. I'm trying to not be very condescending.
Okay.
Because he didn't mess words when he was talking about.
I'm looking at a lot, or rather, a greater majority of the engineers around this side. I'm looking at them like, who swear for this one?
Okay.
And if you are sincere, you will understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not even far from the truth.
Yeah.
Because growing up, we know that in the average Nigerian home, there were a few things you could be. A doctor, a lawyer, an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thing is a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, we saw the doctors build their niche, carve it, followed it, and an industry, like I don't want to say functioning, because even the engineering industry is functional, but it's not there in your face, kind of, or rather it doesn't get the hype. Yeah, let me use that word.
Okay.
Then you see the law industry, same thing with the medical there in your face. Then you now see the engineering. They jump, they do. Yeah. Before now, if you say want to welcome engineer EMMANUEL Opurum, everybody go stand up. Engineer. Yeah. If you say you are welcoming Dr. EMMANUEL, everybody go doctor.
Okay.
Want to welcome barrister, everybody go barrister. Right now, if you say you are welcoming doctor, people go still give that. So you are welcoming barrister, people go still give that. But if you say you are welcoming engineer, people go be like, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
They will look at you first.
I get what.
And you know that it is not far from the truth.
Yeah.
So now my question is, how did we get here?
Okay. Now, two things. First of all, they say empty vessels make the biggest noise.
Gang.
You understand?
Who be empty vessels?
Call it.
Call their names.
I don't want.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You've already started it.
I don't want to
Is that how
call it
engineers do? They leave their buildings unfinished. You don't start and finish them.
No, because there are important things you might even go unnoticed. Let's use the human body, for example. The organs that do or keep or sustain human life, you don't even notice them. You don't give them any accolade whatsoever. You won't even know that you won't know that doing any work. Looking at a human being now, you're seeing eyes, you're seeing leg, you're seeing mouth, talk, like you're talking now. But your mouth is not as important as some vital organ, but you will never give those organ credit until something happens to them. That's when you will now understand how important this thing is. Even more. You can live without a hand, you can live without a leg, you can live without an eye, but there are important organs that you don't even see, you don't hype them, but if they are not there, that's the only time you notice them.
So that's engineering.
That's engineering. Now, engineers, the only time people notices engineering most of the time is when something goes wrong. Engineers are like silent achievers. Even when you go to a place like radio station, for example, the OAPs take all the credit. They're the ones talking, they're the one everybody hears their voice. But the people making it possible are engineers. But you won't hear them. If I ask any of the popular radio or TV stations now, you know all their OAPs, but you don't know any of the engineer that works there.
What's that one is engineer?
Do you understand? But without those engineers there, that station is going to shut down.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Your point is totally driven.
That's
I want to ask you
basically.
something. So when we apply engineering, like into engineering level of precision into mental health in Nigeria, how would therapy and healing be? What would change? What would be the difference? I want to know.
So what difference would engineering
make in like
for
mental health,
therapy,
all those things? I want to know.
I listened to somebody, a very renowned therapist one time said he has never talked anybody out of depression. The therapists are not doing anything. They just make it therapy, or going to therapy is like getting high or drinking.
Why do I
to
feel
forget your sorrow?
Why do I feel like they use your hand? They create quotes. They create quotes. They say that one renowned engineer talk about.
It's something that a very renowned.
What's the name of the renowned engineer?
Anything where you talk for here, you can talk. Please always.
You say a renowned engineer talks. They use your hand. They create quotes.
Because
you know that mental health is not only because of like
depression.
Yeah, there are a lot of reasons. A lot traumas. There are countless reasons why people may need therapy. Do you understand?
Okay.
So don't level it down to depression. I want you to.
What improvements will engineering do or make for mental
health?
Now, what causes mental health or mental breakdown? What causes people to have mental breakdown?
The smoking
problem. No problem. Whether it's Igbo, they smoke, at the end of the day, it's one problem or the other that causes people.
Traumas are not exactly problems.
Trauma, whatever name you choose to call it, you are just giving it a name, botanical name. Whatever name you choose to. What led to the trauma is not a problem.
When somebody says, "Oh, my dad was this to me and my dad abused me," is that a problem?
It's a problem. It's a problem.
It's a trauma to the person.
The trauma and the problem.
That trauma is a problem that led to the trauma.
On my side. I don't know why you're siding this guy.
Let me not say what I want to say.
It's a problem that led to the trauma.
Yeah.
So you're going to deal with the problem.
Exactly what I'm saying. Now, engineering. Remember, I told
you make person papa know they abuse them.
Exactly. Remember, I told you engineering is about solving problems, whether spiritual, whether physical.
So how you gonna solve this problem?
How you gonna solve this?
I want to know. So what's the thought pattern to solving this problem? This particular one where they talk say somebody is going through trauma as a result of his or her father's abusive behavior towards him or her. How you want to solve them? I want practically.
Yes.
Is it when the problem is already there or before the
problem?
How
you would you prevent?
Prevention and cure.
Okay. Now, engineering can prevent that particular problem in a lot of ways.
Okay.
In a lot of ways. There are something called surveillance systems, for example. Engineering can use a surveillance system to solve that problem.
Break it down.
Let's say, for example, a father and a child. The reason why some of those things happen, there is a saying that evil thrives in darkness. We all know that. And engineers bring light wherever they go. Now, if there is light and there is surveillance, you see that most of those abuses will not even go on to be. If the father knows that somebody is watching him, he will be more careful.
Okay, so that's prevention.
Do you understand?
Prevention.
So you prevent it through surveillance, for example.
And you cure it like in a situation where it has already happened.
Now,
I want to help the daughter or the son.
Now it has already abuse. Now is for someone that has already gone through that abuse. Do you know that engineering has advanced to the point where you can actually embed a chip into somebody and probably wipe. You can. You can change somebody's thought pattern. You can alter somebody's thinking.
God, they create. Engineers, they recreate.
Yeah, you can. And one thing I tell people, before I forget, one of the things I tell people is, like I said, if engineers were to have a way of being in every particular profession, my God, let's use medical profession, for example. If engineers were to be doctors, people will not be dying.
Hey!
I'm telling you, I can tell you for a fact. If engineers were doctors in today's world, people will not die. One of the technology that goes into, let's say, Elon Musk, for example, in recent time, Elon Musk was able to, him and his engineering team, they were able to build a spacecraft that can take off from Earth, go to space, come back to the exact same position. If you look at the engineering that goes into that kind of design, for example, if half of it or 10% of it goes into the medical field, people will not be dying. I can tell you for sure. People will not be dying. If engineers were to be in the medical field, you see how we buy car parts in the market.
That's how we
buy human parts. I'm telling you, you just if your hand have issue, you say, you go call your mom. They'll find another hand. They will bring hand for you. The same, your hand will have part number. Every human body would have been having part number. Say, I need so model of hand. They will bring it. I'm telling you.
So a little personal question.
Okay.
What would be your take if you eventually born pikin when you get interest in engineering? For example, your pikin one day sing.
That's not my child.
I just knew. I literally knew you were going
so a lion cannot born a goat.
You put a child through trauma because you know that. Is your father an engineer?
That's
is your father an engineer?
Talk about.
Yes.
Your father is an engineer?
Yes.
His father before him?
He might not have been an engineer.
Do you understand? So you guys picked it up somewhere.
You picked
it up somewhere along the line.
Yes.
Now, what if your child decided to drop it?
Yeah.
That's why I said a lion cannot born a goat.
You go put chip inside.
Engineering can use engineer to mate lion and goat. Male lion born goat.
Yes, that's mutation. That is genetic engineering.
So what if this lion come born goat?
If lion born goat, I will still extract the goat, the gene of the goat, and chip the engineering into the. I go chip.
So the last question I want to ask you, please, before we round up, before we call it a wrap. So if you're going to advise maybe the average engineering student wasted it for university, what advice are you going to give them?
The advice I will give them is they're in the right place, they're in the right career, they're in the right field. Back then in school, I'm not saying all these things now because I actually became, even right from when we were in school, I tell people then, if I studied law, I would probably make first class up if there is something like that. There is no other course I would have not made first class that is not engineering. Do you understand? Now, one advice I will give them, which is what I always say, you are superior to every other person you see right there in school. Any other course, anybody is doing there that is not engineering, you are much more important than what they are doing. What you are doing is much more important. I mean, you are solving real life problems. People tell me, what about doctors? If a doctor is not there, you can fall sick and die. Now, let me give you this scenario. If a doctor makes a mistake when making surgery, which they do all the time, but if a doctor makes a mistake, he's carrying out a surgery and he makes a mistake, only one person will die. If a lawyer or a judge makes a mistake, he sentences one person wrongly to death or whatever, one person dies. But if an engineer makes a mistake, imagine if River Niger collapses now as we are talking now. Do you know how many people that will go there, that will go down? If a building collapses, do you know how many people that dies on the spot? Do you understand? If there is an engineering failure anywhere, look at it, the catastrophe
You talk this
is
thing like
always
saying,
so
in one
much.
beat.
No,
I say
I'm not-
advice to them.
So they should pay, they should just be careful, they should know that they're in the right place. They should, there's a lot of difficulty that comes with studying engineering, but all good thing takes time, or nothing good comes easy. You understand? There is a lot of frustration that comes with studying engineering. A lot of frustration.
Right.
But every good thing takes time. Now, nothing good comes easy. So, whether upcoming engineer, whether an engineer, shout out to you. We make the world.
Ladies and
a better
gentlemen,
place.
you have heard it. So I'm beginning to second guess my life's choices.
Engineering is the bane of our existence, guys.
Do you understand? I'm beginning to second guess my life's choices, but it is what it is. This is what we do here at Chaotic Pod. Bring all the education, all the exposure, all the enlightenment to you in the comfort of your homes. Thank you very much, Engineer Opurum Emmanuel. Thank you for being here on the Chaotic Pod. Very big shout out to my co-host, Azaz. How do now?
After you don't share the
Now play.
It's all right.
Didi,
Yeah.
shout out to you. And a very big shout out
See you guys
to
next time.
all our sponsors, Pocari Sweat, Dozoville Pizza, Flamingo Car Care. Thank you guys very much. And until we come your way again pretty soon, make sure you subscribe, like the videos, turn on your post notification, and we'll bring you more exciting conversations. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.